In this practice, instead of the forward bends and back bends as the first part of our practice, let's open the thoracic spine first to prepare the body for the forward bends and back bends, especially for those of us that practice in the early part of the day when our muscles are a bit tight. We need to ease into the practice once we get the side body and the heart open to do forward bends and back bends. Let's begin. In this practice, you may need two blocks. I always like to have blocks on hand. If you've got them close by, great. If not, no worries. Let's start in all fours position. In all fours position, move your spine, draw your heart forward, and draw back from your navel back to your spine. I like to start this practice, of course, just moving the spine. And it reminds me of an expression a friend just shared. When you move a muscle, you change a thought. So as you move the muscles that support your spine, just allow the emphasis to be on this upper chest area, the thoracic spine, as you lift your sit bones and then tuck your tailbone down to draw awareness of bringing the navel back toward the spine. Just move very easily at your own pace, paying attention to your breath, bringing your awareness to this muscular movement and how just this very simple, accessible pose allows you to shift your mind, shift your perception, shift your attitude. After several rounds of this cat and cow, come to lie on your side. So as you lie on your right side, just start with your knees bent and your arm can be your pillow with your knees together. Take your hands now in front of you in a prayer position. So you may want to have like a pillow for your head so that you can just be in this pose for a moment. And as you place your hands in this prayer position, slide the top hand forward and lift your arm up. Just open your chest nicely. We're not taking the hand and the shoulder all the way back. We're just opening up. Take your hand back in prayer position, slide the hand forward, and lift your arm up. Open your chest. Again, in order to preserve the low back, especially in the morning or when we're a little stiff, keep this practice up where you open the upper chest, which tends to be really tight for many of us, the upper chest, the thoracic spine. Keep this movement 3 more times. Take your arm up and over, and 2 more. Keep your fingers active. So as you engage the muscles of the arm in this easeful action, you can start to engage the muscles of the shoulders and come to the opposite side. So I'll just turn on my mat so I can face you as you bend the knees. As you roll over, same thing. Again, you can have something, a pillow for your head. You roll over to your side and then take your hands together with the palms together. Stretch and reach the top hand forward and lift up and slightly back. And come back. We'll be doing several repetitions. You want to go quite slow when you're doing this. Just moving the top hand up and over. Keeping a nice engagement by expressing through the spread of your fingers. You move these muscles and you start to shift your thoughts, your perceptions. You start to just engage very fully as you move your hands forward and up and back. And last time, reach forward and take your hand up and back. And slowly make your way to all fours position again. You can take the block to your side. You won't be needing it for this one. As you take your right arm and thread it right behind the left wrist and reach to the side, allow your head to rest on the floor. Now you may want to place your head on the block. Take your left hand to your low back and just open your chest nicely. And keep on opening that upper chest area so that we can start to just kind of work our way toward the low back. Reach your left arm up and place your hands in this prayer position. And in the same way, just slide the top hand forward and lift up and release it back to this prayer position. We'll do this 3 times. Slide the hand forward, reach up, and take it down. Slide to reach forward and up, and take it down. Come back to all fours position. Just pause here for a moment with your toes tucked under. Come to this puppy dog pose. And as you do, just kind of notice, even though we've done really very simple movements, very accessible movements, just notice how working with the different areas of the body just allows you to move the muscles in a way that it starts to shift your perspective. You start to be drawn more deeply into the awareness of the practice of your body. And let's come back to all fours position. Thread your left arm right behind the right wrist and draw down. Just pause here for a moment. You can take your right hand to your low back. Just open the chest. Take your right hand to meet your left hand. Slide it forward and lift your arm up. And again, hands together in prayer pose. Slide forward and lift up. And a third time, hands together, slide forward and lift up. Release out of the pose to come to all fours position with fingers pressing firmly, hands as wide apart as your mat is. Draw your pelvis back toward your heels. Relax your head. Keep your armpits lifted. Take more weight back to your heels. Just allow nice ease in your breath. Maybe you can take less weight on your hands. Walk your hands back to your feet. And as you take less weight on your hands, of course, your toes are really working here. You're trying to keep the weight all the way to the heels if possible. If not, just keep your hands on the mat so it's not quite so much weight. You can take your arms up and interlace your fingers to reach over to one side. Now that we've done the twisting from side to side, let's start working the side body. So you just reach side to side, just allowing for your breath to help you open up the side body. You can take hold of the left wrist and reach over and back and reach over to the opposite side and back. Release your hands down. Let's just do one more twist from all fours position as a way to open the upper chest. So back to all fours position in the same action that we just did. Thread the right hand just behind your left wrist and draw your head down either to the block or the floor. Take your lifted left hand to your low back and reach your left foot to extend the leg out. Open your chest nicely and work the back of the right arm to get a little bit more opening there. So even though the right hand is flat and the arm looks really static, you're working the back of the arm to get more opening of the chest. Release your hand down and your knee down. Come to the opposite side. So as you thread your left hand right behind your right wrist, your head comes down in the same way as you take your right hand to your low back, stretch your left leg back. Open your chest nicely. Depress all the backs of your fingers to the mat on your left hand. Let's get this nice opening. And release your hand down. Come to standing right at the top of your mat. And as you rise up, just pause here for a moment and check in. Just allow yourself a nice ease in your breath. After those actions to open this upper thoracic spine, let's work to open the side body more. So step wide, draw from your feet to your pelvis with your hands at your hips. Draw your elbows in toward each other and open the chest nicely. Turn your right toes out. Inhale, lift your arms up and soften down. Just come to Virabhadrasana number 2. As you keep your back legs so strong, keep that engagement. Drop the front thigh a little bit more before taking the right forearm down. Pause here in Parsvakonasana. Swing your left arm up and over your head as you're ready. Now we start working on lengthening from the pelvis to the armpit, out through the fingertips. After all that twisting, we get lots of length through the side body. Now let's do a little bit more movement. So drop your lifted arm down toward the floor. Follow with your gaze. Your hand back, reach up. reach over and down, and just feel, go slow so you can feel how the back body expands so fully. We'll do this 3 cycles. Reach down and come back to the position you started with. Reach over, root down strongly through the back foot to inhale and lift yourself up out of the pose. Release your hands, parallel your feet, pull in so you know you've got this strong engagement of the legs. You're drawing in to this power. You're engaging your muscles. By moving the muscles, we remember to shift our thoughts, to bring our awareness more to our physical actions. Draw your left toes out, bend your front knee, and expand. Find the fullness in your pose as you draw the feet in. As you root down from the back foot, the back leg helps keep you stable and strong as you take your forearm down to the top of the thigh and come to Utthita Parsvakonasana. This nice variation that we're doing allows you to get length to both sides, certainly the right side, but also the underside left side. Reach over and get this fullness. Let your breath just provide even more fullness. Now let's get a little bit more movement in the upper arm. So bow down slightly to reach your fingertips down before reaching back. Follow with your gaze, your hand as it moves and cycles around. You maintain this nice fullness of your fingers, not only in your lifted arm, but also in the arm that's planted on top of the thigh. Just allow the breath to facilitate more movement, more length as you draw down. The slower you go, the more you can find how strong the engagement can be. You strengthen by slowing down. Reach over and let's all meet in this wide stance as you root down to rise up. Release your hands again. Parallel your feet again. Pull in, pull the feet in so you feel an engagement of the inner thigh muscles before extending your right toes out. Check the alignment of the right foot with the back arch, back left arch. Lift your arms up and Utthita Trikonasana, draw it down. Once you find a comfortable spot, and that can be on your shin or on a block, take your lifted arm to your waist and bend your front knee just slightly. Maybe that will facilitate an even wider stance for you. And you can come toward a straight right leg once you do that. Maybe even place your hand right under your shoulder and on the floor or the block again to open your chest. All that action we did in the twist allows you to open the shoulder nicely as you come to nice fullness in Utthita Trikonasana, where the back leg stays strong and rooted to support you as you inhale and rise up. Release your hands. Let's come to the opposite side. So as you turn your toes and lift your arms up, come to find fullness and length in the side body as you come to your form. of Utthita Trikonasana. To make these refinements, I always like to just check in with the alignment first of the feet, then with the hand either on the block, the shin, or the floor. You engage so strong with the feet. You pull the feet in toward one another to get strength in the legs, to lift the underside ribs and lift your arm up. Keep that engagement of the leg with a strong rooted quality of the back leg. That supports you to lift up very easily. And exhale, release your hands. Come to the top of the mat. And now as you step to the top of the mat, the thing that we usually do at the beginning of our practice is Surya Namaskar, or sun salutes. So instead, today we've kind of mixed it up. So we open the upper body, the upper thoracic spine that tends to be really tight, to kind of preserve that more flexible part of the spine, the lumbar spine. So now, with the length of the side body, the openness of the upper chest, let's just do 2 rounds of Surya Namaskar. With your feet parallel at the top of the mat, inhale, reach up and back. Exhale, lower yourself down with your knees bent and come to a plank position. In your plank position, lower yourself down. Once your belly is on the mat, draw your heart forward. Exhale, soften down. Reach your hands back with your palms pressing on the mat. Inhale, just trust in the strength of the back muscles to lift you up. Exhale, soften down. As you've heard, it's not how far you go, it's how you go far. So how can you engage your back muscles to lift up rather than trusting in the strength of the arms, and soften down? And one more time. Inhale, lift up, and exhale, soften. Place your hands right alongside your ribs. Inhale, reach your heart forward in this baby cobra pose, still trusting in the strength of the back muscles. Exhale, soften. Come through all fours position to downward facing dog. And walk your feet up to your hands. Place your hands to your low back and rise up. Let's do that one more time, one more round. Inhale, reach up. Exhale, come down. Place your hands right alongside your ankles to step back to a plank position. Lower yourself slowly to the mat. And again, we'll work the back muscles strong on the in-breath. Rise up in this cobra pose. On the exhale, soften. Again, very little weight-bearing action on your hands, so your arms are not doing the work. It's your back muscles as you rise up. Just pulse up with the breath and soften. And one more time. Inhale, you rise up. Exhale and soften. Come through all fours position to downward facing dog. And walk your way up to the front of the mat to place your hands to the low back and rise up. So there you have it. Normally we start with our sun salutes. Today we end with sun salutes. So thanks so much for joining this practice where we did things just a little bit different, ending in sun salutes, and instead just taking our attention to that area of the spine that tends to be really tight. You can go on and do some seated poses and supine poses now. If you don't have time for that, enjoy the rest of your day. Namaste.